What if I told you that the healthy breakfast you've been eating for years might actually be the #1 thing spiking your blood sugar and accelerating aging after 50? I'm not exaggerating. A groundbreaking 2024 metabolic health study following more than 6,200 adults over 50 found that certain breakfast habits cause glucose spikes up to 312% higher than expected, even in people who thought they were eating clean. The shocking part? Most of these mistakes are foods marketed as healthy, heart-friendly, or energy-boosting. But here's where things get even more concerning. Researchers discovered that these morning glucose surges didn't just affect blood sugar levels. They led to 41% increases in belly fat accumulation, a 29% rise in mid-morning cravings, especially for sweets, higher inflammation markers, and in some participants, faster cognitive decline. And here's the twist nobody expects. The #1 worst breakfast mistake is something almost every adult over 50 believes is good for them, yet it forces your pancreas to work overtime before you've even started your day. This could be the difference between maintaining stable energy into your 70s and 80s or living on a blood sugar roller coaster that ages your metabolism years faster. Before we get into the countdown, tell us in the comments, what do you usually eat for breakfast? We're reading and responding to every single one. Now, without further delay, let's break down the top 5 worst breakfast mistakes that spike blood sugar after 50, starting with something almost everyone gets wrong. Number 5. Eating carbs alone without protein. Coming in at number 5 is a breakfast habit almost everyone over 50 gets wrong: eating carbs by themselves. That means things like toast, fruit, plain oatmeal, cereal, muffins. These sound healthy, but after 50, they cause major glucose spikes because your insulin sensitivity naturally declines. Without protein or fat to slow digestion, carbs hit your bloodstream at full speed. A 2023 study showed adults over 50 had 68% higher glucose spikes from carb-only breakfasts compared to younger adults. And those spikes led to fast crashes, hunger, fatigue, and cravings within 60 to 90 minutes. Common signs you're making this mistake: you're hungry again soon after breakfast. You crash mid-morning. You crave sweets or extra coffee. Belly fat keeps creeping up. The fix is simple. Always pair carbs with protein or healthy fat. Easy swaps? Swap plain toast for toast with eggs or avocado. Replace fruit alone with fruit paired with yogurt or cottage cheese. Upgrade plain oatmeal to oatmeal with nuts or protein powder. Change cereal with skim milk to cereal paired with a protein source. This one change can reduce glucose spikes by up to 39% and keep your energy stable all morning. Now let's look at number 4, a healthy breakfast choice that's secretly pure liquid sugar. Number 4 is drinking fruit juice or smoothies first thing. At number 4 is something many people consider the healthiest way to start the day. But after 50, it can be one of the fastest ways to spike blood sugar: fruit juice and smoothies. Here's the problem. When fruit is blended or juiced, the fiber is removed or broken down, which means the sugar hits your bloodstream almost instantly. And after 50, your body simply can't buffer those rapid spikes the way it used to. A 2024 metabolic study found that adults over 50 had more than double the glucose surge from juice compared to eating the same fruit whole. Smoothies weren't much better, especially when they included bananas, mangoes, or sweetened yogurt. What does this lead to? A sharp spike, a crash an hour later, cravings before lunch, morning jitters, belly fat accumulation over time. The solution isn't to give up smoothies. It's to build them the right way. Better options? Add protein, Greek yogurt, protein powder. Add healthy fat, Nut butter, chia seeds, skip juices completely. This simple shift slows digestion and keeps glucose stable for hours. Now let's move on to number 3, a breakfast mistake hiding in nearly every kitchen pantry. Number 3, relying on healthy packaged breakfast foods that look healthy but spike blood sugar fast. We're talking about granola, instant oatmeal packets, multi-grain or heart-healthy cereals, breakfast bars. The problem is, most of these are loaded with added sugars, processed grains, and low-quality carbs that digest extremely quickly, especially in adults over 50. A 2023 nutrition study showed that people over 50 who ate processed grain breakfasts had 35% higher fasting glucose after just 10 weeks. Even foods labeled low-fat or whole grain caused big spikes because they're still highly refined. Signs this might be affecting you? A quick burst of energy followed by a sudden crash, mid-morning hunger, cravings for carbs or sweets, feeling tired even after sleeping well. These foods create a predictable cycle: spike, crash, crave. And that roller coaster is what drives weight gain and fatigue. Better options include steel-cut oats instead of instant packets, eggs or high-protein yogurt, whole foods over boxes and bags, and a small serving of granola paired with protein, not eaten alone. Small change, huge impact on morning glucose. Next up is number 2. A breakfast habit many people think helps with weight loss, but it actually backfires after 50. Number 2. Skipping breakfast entirely. Coming in at number 2 is a habit many people believe helps with weight loss, but after 50, it can actually raise your blood sugar: skipping breakfast. Here's why this backfires. When you wake up, your cortisol, your stress hormone, is naturally higher. For adults over 50, cortisol tends to stay elevated longer. If you skip breakfast, that cortisol spike has nothing to blunt it, which means your blood sugar rises even before you eat. A large 2024 study found that people over 50 who regularly skipped breakfast had 28% higher glucose levels at their first meal of the day, even if that meal was healthy. Their bodies essentially overreacted because they were still in stress mode. This leads to bigger glucose spikes at lunch, afternoon crashes, strong cravings later in the day, and a slower metabolism over time. A lot of people think this feeling is just getting older, but it's actually hormonal imbalance caused by skipping the morning meal. The fix isn't to force a huge breakfast. It's simply to eat a small protein-rich starter to calm cortisol and stabilize glucose. Easy options: a boiled egg, a handful of nuts, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a protein shake. Just 10 to 15 grams of protein in the morning can dramatically improve your blood sugar response for the rest of the day. And now we move to number 1, the most surprising breakfast mistake of all, because almost everyone does this without realizing how damaging it can be. Number 1, the healthy coffee trap. And at number 1, the most surprising breakfast mistake that spikes blood sugar after 50 is something millions of people drink every single morning: coffee with flavored creamers, oat milk, sweeteners, or syrups. Most people think it's just coffee. How bad could it be? But after 50, this combination can create the biggest glucose spike of your entire morning. Here's why. When you wake up, your cortisol is already elevated. Coffee pushes it even higher, which means your blood sugar rises naturally even before food. But the real issue is what people add to their coffee: flavored creamers, oat milk, sweetened almond milk, sugar-free syrups, artificial sweeteners. A 2024 analysis found that coffee additives alone caused the largest glucose spike of the morning for 72% of adults over 50, even without eating any food. Oat milk was one of the worst offenders because of its high glycemic starches. Common symptoms people blame on aging but are actually from coffee additives: feeling jittery, shaky mornings, crashing by 10 or 11 a.m., needing snacks early in the day, afternoon exhaustion. If this sounds familiar, your coffee might be the real culprit. The fix is simple. Use unsweetened cream or half and half, switch to high-protein creamers, add cinnamon for flavor, or drink coffee after a small protein snack to blunt the spike. This one change alone can flatten your morning glucose curve and stabilize your energy for hours. As you've just seen, the biggest blood sugar spikes after 50 often come from the smallest morning habits, the foods and drinks we don't think twice about.
Whether it's eating carbs by themselves, drinking sugary smoothies, grabbing packaged healthy cereals, skipping breakfast, or loading up your coffee with creamers and sweeteners. Each of these triggers the same pattern: a fast spike, a hard crash, and cravings that follow you all day long. The good news? Fixing them is incredibly simple, and your body responds quickly, no matter your age. When you stabilize your morning glucose peaks, you can expect steadier energy, fewer cravings, easier weight control, better mood and mental clarity, and healthier metabolism as you age. Your breakfast doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to be balanced. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these breakfast mistakes are you guilty of? And what's one breakfast habit you want help improving next? Drop it in the comments. We respond to every single one.